Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Nacha khuddang samacare kinchi yena vinyu pare upavadeyum sukhino vake mino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhi tatta. Venerable Chief Nayaka Hamdurwa and Venerable Sirs, friends in the Dhamma, welcome for our Saturday Dhamma talk. We are continuing the Karaniya Metta Sutta. So far we have explained the preparation of one's inner consciousness prior to the meditation of Metta. Today this third stanza explains another preparation, and with that preparation one can have a quantum leap, a sudden jump towards the cultivation or radiating Metta to the whole world, the entire universe, with its all sorts of beings. So this specific cultivation makes sure that your Metta is genuine, that your Metta has the necessary psychological or mental background. Of course, it is talking about the sila, the morality. So the moral background in one's consciousness is the concentration on this third stanza of this sutta. Nacha khuddang samachare. Khuddang, even a little error, mistake, misbehave, or any kind of even a slight unbecoming behavior, na samachare, should not behave upon, should not work upon, should not act accordingly. Now, morality in Buddhism began with awareness. In the early part of the Buddha's teaching, we can find, especially in the first 20 years, what do we call the Patama Abhisambuddha. In this era, the morality had no any background of precepts. Buddha did not promulgate any precepts to make sure his monastics, his disciples, follow the becoming way of monastic life. The reason is, whoever joined during that early period of the Buddha's ministry, they were practicing acutely or strongly something called the awareness, sati sampajanya, maintaining the awareness all the time. In a more specific manner, maintaining the awareness on the anicca, impermanence, dukkha, misery, and anatta, selflessness of the nature, of everything, of every phenomena. Since they were cultivating that awareness on these triple characteristics of whatever experience they are having, naturally they were behaving in one way harmless to others, beneficial to others, and in another way becoming for a monastic. So Buddha did not have any reason to say even don't do this or don't do that, because naturally they were behaving properly. So early part of the Buddha's ministry, the morality was based on the Dhamma itself. They know the Dhamma, they know the true nature of characteristics, true nature of phenomena. Since their awareness on that true nature, they were behaving properly. But of course, as the Buddhism flourishes, as the time goes by, in the later part of the Buddha's ministry were filled with precepts, because those who entered the dispensation of the Buddha were not so keen into this practice of awareness as those who did before. So Buddha had to promulgate precepts for the benefit of those who are not mindful, who are not aware, who were into lax kind of behavior, who are not so keen into the practice of meditation, to control them, to thwart their unbecoming behavior. Buddha had to promulgate all sorts of precepts for the female, for the male, all sorts of monastics, to control their lax behavior and get into a commonly accepted code of precepts. And this code of precepts that the Buddha promulgated have two purposes. One purpose is to stop one's demotion to the perdition or to the hellish realms after life. Now, when we look at the precepts that we know, the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, or 10 precepts, there are 2 types of 8 precepts: Ajiva Ashtamaka Sila and Ashtamaka Sila, Posata Ashtamaka Sila. The precepts in these groups can be divided into two categories, as the precepts which support or help someone to stop his journey to the perdition, to suffering, to hell. What are those precepts? They are the precepts, if you break or if you do not observe, if you are unmindful of them, you create suffering for yourself and others. Suffering for others, instantaneous, and suffering for you later as the reward of that suffering given to others. Especially including the 5 precepts. The 5 precepts are the mandatory precepts that one should preserve in one's life, stop his journey, his demotion to perdition: killing, taking what is not given, sensual misconduct, lying, and to cause all of these 4 evil behaviors, drinking alcohol or getting intoxicated, taking drugs, getting drugged. So these 5 precepts are mandatory to all of the humanity. Whoever desire, whoever have this longing to be elevated, to be promoted to a higher status after this life. Not only after this life, even in this life itself. Whoever have this aspiration to go higher, he must be mindful, acutely observe and preserve the avoidances of killing, taking what is not given, deceiving others, or disturbing the others' happiness in their family lives, involving in extreme self-gratifications, and of course getting addicted to be intoxicated with drugs or alcohol. The second type of precepts are making sure one's closure, one's getting close to the enlightenment, to get rid of suffering, to alleviate suffering, to get rid of these bondages to the samsara, to make sure one's understanding of the life as it is, to unveil the ignorance of the reality, to haste one's journey, to get rid of these bondages to the samsara. These are the aims of other precepts. For example, when you observe the 8 precepts, other than these precepts of the 5 precepts, there are precepts that you observe like Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadam, to avoid taking hard food or meals after the sun starts setting. Helps meditation, helps one's meditation to be successful. With the heavy or full stomach in the evening, you cannot practice properly at night. You fall asleep. Falling asleep has nothing to do with meditation. So to stop that disturbance and to make sure your practice is stronger, Buddha promulgated. And of course, other reasons are there to promulgate this precept. But the main purpose is there. You don't go to hell because of that. But with the heaviest stomachs, with non-meditation at night, you are delaying your journey to Nibbana. So the precept is promulgated to make sure your journey is faster, quicker, your practice is stronger. Another precept, Mala Gandha Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanattahana Veramani. Avoiding beautifications to create on this body. The body is naturally disgusting. Naturally, as it is, our body is disgusting. So we beautify it with all sorts of unguents, scents, colors, with all sorts of methods. There are thousands of methods to beautify this body. This beautifying is nothing but creating attachment towards the body and being blinded by the temporary beauty created by those outside sources, becoming ignorant about the reality of the body, again causes for you to be attached to this samsara, for you to be ignorant of the reality of the samsara. It means again you are slowing down your journey to Nibbana. Jata Rupa Rajata Patighana Veramani. Observe the precepts to avoid touching or handling gold or silver. Gold or silver are worldly possessions. People at home use this. If a monastic also collecting these gold or silver and measuring his richness with those gold or silver, he is forgetting his journey. He is forgetting where he is. He is not involving in the spiritual development. He is involving in the worldly things, worldly pleasures. So to make sure that a monastic strictly observe his spiritual development without involving in the worldly material engagements, Buddha said, avoid all those richnesses. Don't touch, don't handle gold or silver. So likewise, the precepts we observe have two purposes: to stop our journey to hell, to suffering. You break the 5 precepts. It means bound to have a failure in your samsaric journey, in the sense of your next life is a demotion to the hellish, to the lower realms, to the animal realm, to the preta realm, or to the asura realms, or to the kind of hells, hellish realms. And the second type of precepts have the purpose to make sure your journey to samsara is quicker than others. Make sure you are obvious to the truth of the life. Make sure your practice is stronger, to make sure your samsaric journey is shorter than others, are the purposes of preserving, observing, and promulgating the rest of the precepts. Now, for a meditator, what is the use of these precepts? Only one particular use is there. The usage is, you have no regrets of your past. Now remember, when we talk about regrets, regrets are nothing about or have nothing to do with present or future. Regrets are all about the past. And the person who have no any affinity with the precepts, who have behaved being wanton, being directed by his wanton thoughts, in his mind, in the corner of his mind, those memories of those misbehaviors are hanging around. And what happened when he start practicing? In any case, if he wants to meditate, what happened when he start practicing? Those memories starts coming onto the surface. They start coming onto the surface level of the mind and haunt him and disturb his meditation totally, torture him with those memories. So more he was breaking those precepts or having a lax behavior in the past, more will be his regrets inside his consciousness. They are there, hiding, waiting for the time, hiding inside. In the meditation, you try to calm yourself on the surface level, then what happened? Those memories are the first to come onto the surface. You will be tortured by them. So for the meditation, breaking of the 5 precepts or behaving in such a manner which is harmful to others, destroying others' happiness, peace and harmony, giving suffering to the others, those activities are nothing but breaking of the precepts. They will be disturbing you, torturing you when you start your practice of meditation. The second, fear for the future. If you have a fear for the future, here in this life and hereafter, in the next life, all the fear is based on breaking of the precepts. Because in your corner of your mind, you know the retributions are waiting, consequences are waiting, results are waiting. Anytime they can fall upon you. Like the sword of Damocles. Anytime that sword, which is hanging with a single thread of hair, can fall upon you. So you know the retributions, the consequences of my karma, of the breaking of those precepts are waiting for me for the right time, right opportunity. The fear is there. Getting older and older, the fear becomes overwhelming because he knows that his life will be hellish, will be full of suffering because of his own deeds. So the one who break the precepts, 5 precepts, he has nothing else but the regrets and the fear. Regrets for the past, fear for the future. Do you think such a person can meditate? So the Buddha says, just about to start your practice, just about to start your metta meditation. Nacha kuddang samachare. Make sure you don't have even a slight error, kuddang, slight error, to disturb your meditation, to thwart your radiation of metta. Because in the radiation of metta, you must have the love, the compassion, the joy in your heart at first, prior to the radiation. For that to make sure, the first thing is you must have that purity of your verbal, physical and mental deeds. Killing, taking what is not given, and sensual misconduct from the physical activities. Then slanderous talk, lying, slanderous talks, frivolous talks and harsh words from our mouths. Then from mind, ill will, wrong view and extreme miserliness or covetousness. These are the misdeeds of our bodily and verbal and physical areas. Smaller or larger scale, doesn't matter. We have to stop them. We have to avoid them, get rid of them, little by little, little by little. As we are getting rid of them, the second line comes in, Yena vinyu pareyupavadeyum. A vinyu, a wise man, will not find fault with us. Now, if a fool find fault with you, what he will do? He will spread it around. He will talk with others people. He will tell about you, your misdeeds, your weaknesses to others. He will try to destroy your character, destroy your name. But a wise man, Vinyu, if he sees your weaknesses, he will tell it to your face. You have this weakness, you have this mistake, this fault is yours. Get rid of it. Such a wise man is a blessing to you. That's why in the Mahamangala Sutta Buddha says, Asevana chabalanam panditanam cha sevana. Association with the wise is a blessing, because that wise man will stop even a small, minute level of misdeeds of yours. It is a blessing to you, because if our small errors are ignored, overlooked, or just let it go, then the bigger ones comes later. The bigger mistakes will be arriving, because we are not afraid of doing small things, small errors. Like a small child, when he steals a pen from the school, out of an instant desire, a child will steal a pen belong to his friend. When he comes home, his mother just take it simply, or just about it. She ignore it. Then the child take it as a signal, and he start stealing, taking others' things and bringing home. Mother is still ignoring it. Ultimately, a large scale things are stolen by this young man. He becomes a popular or a well-known thief. Began with a small thing, just a small pen. A worthless pen was the first to steal. His mother could have stopped this thief easily, but she ignored it. But she overlooked it. Nobody in the world is a born thief, a born criminal. The elders around him were not Vinyu Pandita. They were not ready to correct him at the right time, at the right moment. They did not correct him. The result is they become criminals, thieves in their adult lives. So just because there are elders around you, they are not Pandita, they are not Vinyu, they are not the wise men to associate. Not all the elders. Elders who see your faults and point out them to your face and ask you to not to engage on them. They are the Vinyu. And these Vinyu, these Pandita, these wise men are a blessing to one's life. You see, when a Buddhist, when he does a good deed, when he does a meritorious deed, a genuine Buddhist has no much of aspirations. He has only one aspiration. One particular aspiration. We always do that. That aspiration is so important in every life we take in this samsaric journey. What is that aspiration? Imina punya kammena. By the power of this good deed I did, ma me bala samagamo. May I be never in association with the Bala, Mame Bala, the fool, the fools who will ignore my mistakes, who will overlook my weaknesses, and who will even guide me to do wrong. Me samagamo. May I not get into association. Satang samagamo hotu. May I be with the association with the wise, who will see my weaknesses and show them to me. Satang yava nibbana patya. Until I attain to nibbana. That means throughout this samsaric journey. This wish is the most important wish for anybody. Because there is no any other force to bring us down to perdition, to hell, to do wrong and to regret later, to be fearful of the past, of the future. Association with the wrong kind. That's why we do this wish. May I not be in the association of the fools who will overlook my weaknesses and who will guide me to do wrong. They are the fools. May I be not with this association of the fools until I attain to Nibbana with the power of this merit. See, this is the only wish we have for us, other than the transferring merits for others, because it is that important. So Buddha says in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, Nacha khuddang samachare kinchi yena vinyu pare upavadeyung blames. If a wise man, if somebody wiser than me blames me because of this action, I will not do this action. There is this beautiful story. Once there was this monk, a meditator in the forest. Early morning he got up, went to the nearby pond. All the surrounding of the pond is full of fragrance of lotuses, because the font is blooming with lotuses. Surrounding is filled with this beautiful fragrance. And the monk just took a long breath in of this beautiful fragrance. Then he suddenly heard, "A thief, a thief, a thief." Then the monk looked around, where is the thief? He knew that is a deva talking, a divine being is talking, because no human is around other than himself. This must be a divine being. Then he asked, "Who is the thief?" This divine being, this deity, said, "You are the thief, monk. You are the thief. What did I steal? You stole the fragrance. You took a long breath of this fragrance without permission, without requesting, without asking." The monk said, "The fragrance is everywhere. It is available. What is there to steal? If I am a thief just because a long breath of this air with fragrance of lotuses, to the real thieves who steal valuables from others, what do you call for them?" Then this deity said, "Those unvirtuous, immoral, those who have no any development of spirituality, their immoral activities are oblivious to us. We don't see them. They are already bound to go to hell. But you, monk, is a person who is putting his best effort for the Nibbana, to attain to the Nibbana, to get rid of this suffering. So we care about you. Even a slight error of you is very much obvious to us. We can see them. So that's why we wanted to correct you. Without the permission, without given, you did this taking a long breath of fragrance and enjoying it. You are not given it. Even a slight mistake, slight error of yours is obvious to us, because you are on the path of purity. In that purity, even a slight, small speck of dirt is very much visible. We want to correct you. We want to help you to remove even that small speck of dirt from your path of purity. Nacha kuddang samachare. Now this sutta was taught to a group of monks who are in the forest, who are practicing so hard, who have sacrificed their lives totally into the development of their spirituality. For such people, the best of the friends is the Buddha. The second best friends are the ones who have attained enlightenment, who have become arahants under the guidance of Buddha, under the leadership of Buddha. Then the third best friends are to associate are the ones who have been practicing before them. A newly ordained monk or newly ordained nun, for them, they are elders who have been practicing, developing their spirituality before them. They can see the development of these newly ordained ones very clearly, because they have been on that before. Are visible, mistakes are visible, weaknesses are visible to them. They are the Vinyu, they are the Pandita, they are the wise. They can point out these weaknesses, these errors to these newly ordained ones. These pointing out of errors are like nidhenam pavattaram, like pointing out a treasure. In the Dhammapada, Buddha says, the pointing out of the errors of a wise man is like pointing out of such importance is there, because these small errors must be removed, because they can be obstacles for him to attain Nibbana. Yeah? And these obstacles are important. Sukhino va khemino hontu. This is the wish of a person who practice metta, practice loving kindness towards others. Sukhino, may all those beings, may all beings, Sukhino, may they be physically happy, physical well-being, may they attain. Sukhino. Khemino, may they be fearless. Now, if a person is not keen into preserving the 5 precepts, killing, taking what is not given, lying, deceiving others, and disturbing the harmony of family lives of others, the 3rd precept, and then one who is drunk, one who is an alcoholic, such a person can never give fearlessness to others. What he can give is fear, terror to others. One who gets drunk and go home, terrorize the whole family. Children are terrorized, wife is tortured, threatened. Cannot be any grant of happiness from him. He can never grant happiness for others. So preserving precepts, a mandatory factor behind metta, because in the metta you grant others physical well-being as well as fearlessness. Now when we observe the 5 precepts, the first precept is the kind of neutral grant of fearlessness. You observe not to kill, not to harm, not to torture anyone physically. That is the neutral way, because you abstain from it. But of course you can be in the positive manner of saving somebody, saving a life which is going to die, which is going to be butchered. That is the opposite, that is the positive manner. Yeah. But of course, first you have to observe it in the neutral manner of not to harm, not to disturb, and giving the fearlessness to others. That is the neutral manner. But later on, when the opportunity comes, you can save a life which is going to be butchered. Khemino, may they be fearless. So when somebody is abstaining from all those activities, verbal, physical, which can create physical suffering in others, or which can create fear in others, only that person can genuinely radiate this thought to others. Sukhino va khemino. May others be physically and fearless. And then the last line comes in with that. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Sabbe satta, may all beings bhavantu, be sukhita atta. Atta is self. Atta, self. In this context, it is mind. Sukhitatta, be with happy minds. Mentally happy. Now, sukhino, physically happy. Sukhitatta here, sukhita atta, that means mentally happy. His mind is happy. Right? So, with the morality and with the support of the previous development or cultured qualities that we mentioned in the first two stanzas, if we jump into it a bit, Karaniyang atta kusalena, for the self well-being, atta kusala, Karaniyang, these things should be done. Yantang santang padang abhisamecha. In this self well-being, the pinnacle is santang padang abhisamecha, to attain, to receive the state of serenity, santang padang, the state of serenity, which is nibbana. To attain nibbana, for the one who wishes his well-being, Karaniyang, these things should be done. Sakko uju cha suju cha. He must be capable, clever, sakko. Uju, upright, physically and verbally. Suju, extremely upright. It means mentally also upright. Suacho, he must be easy to speak to. Yeah, not an adamant person. Mudu, gentle. Anathimani, humble. Now the list go on. Santindriyo cha nipako cha. Santindriyo, he has a well tamed or down senses. Santindriyo. Nipako, again clever to do his duties. Whatever life he is leading, monastic or at home, he is clever to do, clever to fulfill his responsibilities and duties. Nipako. Appagabbo kulesu ananugittu. Appagabbo, he is without pragalbha, that means arrogant, harmful behavior, without demands, appagabbo, kulesu ananugiddho. He is not greedily attached to his devotees, for a monk. Now, when somebody is armed with these qualities, in this stanza, Buddha says he must be preserving his precepts. These preservation of precepts for two purposes. One purpose is to stop his journey to hell, to perdition, and to elevate himself to higher realms. And then the second purpose is to speed up his journey to attain Nibbana, or to shorten his sansaric cycle of birth, again to attain Nibbana. And the person who preserves these precepts, he should preserve them in such a manner he will not be found guilty in the eyes of a Pandita, in the eyes of a Vinyu, in the eyes of a wise. Yeah. So he preserves his precepts mindfully with awareness, so that a Pandita, a Vinyu, a wise man who observes him will not find fault with him. Nacha kuddang samachare vinyu. Yena vinyu pare upavadeyum. Sukhino vake minohon. Such a person who has immaculate purity in his conduct, verbal, physical, mental, has the capability to wish that may all beings, Sukhino, be happy physically, Khemino, be fearless, and then Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta. May all beings, Sabbe Satta, Bhavantu, may. By right it should be Bhavantu Sabbe Satta, may all beings. Sukhitatta, with happy consciousness, with happy self. Atta is self, but we are not translating it as self in this context, because it is mind. Sukhino, happy, or physical well-being. Sukhitatta here means Sukhita Atta, happy consciousness, well-being in the consciousness, well-being in the mind. Right? So, the third stanza is committed to explain the valueness, the validity of the moral background behind the practice of metta. With the development of those virtues that we explained in our earlier talk, person who preserves his precepts in such a manner, he becomes harmless to others. Yeah. Now in Anguttara Nikaya, in one sutta, Buddha says there are 4 types of persons. Individuals who torment others, parantapa, and who torment oneself, attantapa. These precepts one observes, make sure that he doesn't torment anyone. And he doesn't torment himself. Neva attantapang na parantapang. Because he who torments others unknowingly torment himself. without tormenting yourself, you cannot torment others also. For example, when you are angry, you cannot make anybody happy. When you are angry, you can only make others unhappy, others sad. Your words, your actions, your thoughts, all about making sadness, misery, unhappiness for others. So, breaking the 5 precepts is a tormentation practiced upon oneself and others. Such a person who torment, can he ever wish that may others sukhino, be well physically, khemino, be fearless, bhavantu sukhi tattha, may they be with happy consciousnesses, happy minds? He can never have such a wish genuinely. Even though he make that wish, it is a false, fake wish with no results. Only a person who preserves precepts, who is harmless to others, who is harmless to himself, who doesn't torment others, who doesn't torment himself, can have that wish. May all beings be physically well, be fearless, sukhino, khemino, and bhavantu sukhitatta, may they be mentally blissful, mentally happy. That's enough for today. Let's share these merits together with our departed ones, together with our ancestors, forefathers. And then we share these merits with the deities, the invisible positive energies that can be protecting us. May the departed ones and deities be rejoiced with these merits. And also may these merits be supportive for all of you by listening to this Dhamma, by sharing this Dhamma, that this positive meritorious energy that you generate in this 1 hour of time be a supportive factor for you to be protected in this challenging times. For you and for your family, may this merit be a supportive factor to be protected, to safeguard yourself from all these difficulties arising in this world now. Okay, let's share these merits. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu loka sasanang. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanam. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang paranti. Blessings for you. Dukkha roga bhayavera soka sabbe upaddava anekantarayapi vinassantu ca tejasa. Jaya siddhi dhanang labhang satti bhagyam sukham balang siriyayu ca vanno ca bhogang buddhi ca yasava satavassa ca ayu ca jiva siddhi bhavantu te. Ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu.